Shalom. Goes over there. Refresh. There we go. You want to kick it off now?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
It's rolling on a what is it?
Purchase your tracks today.
This call is being recorded.
Know the people been waiting for a minute for something authentic. Came in the truth and bossed in it, made niggas regroup. Had to shed light on a false image. U.P.K whole court. Now who the fuck will scrimmage through words for soft niggas? What is good riddance? Don't affiliate with feminist symptoms. I know you feel me, nigga. This a death threat to hip hop. You don't stop that weak shit, I'ma mix your lean with some Grimlock. When the last time you heard it this raw? What I wish for's when the earth inherited by the pit spawn. We been to war, them the ones I'm taking risks for. Ain't got no picks or no cars to hold. Holy angels watch my steps, them Glock guard my soul. Can't let them leave my body cold. I know you feel me, nigga. Let the wicked weep and the meek prevail. God never been 50-50. I shall now awake to sleep a cell. Let the righteous cry, silence the pretender. A rebel without a cause, as long as I remember. Not taking the kingdom, the only thing on my agenda. Can't avoid me, nigga. Middle finger to the ones that try to destroy me. Revenge of beauty, I'm a beast. I told the bitch she can't eat unless she join me for dinner. My God ain't got no regard for a sinner. One call fall on him like timber. I know you feel me.
What is it?
Purchase your tracks today.
Know the people been waiting for a minute for something authentic. Came in the truth and bossed in it, made niggas regroup. Had to shed light on the false U.P.K court. Now who the fuck wants scrimmage to words for something? What is good riddance? Don't affiliate with feminist symptoms. I know you feel me, nigga. This a death threat to hip hop. You don't stop that weak shit, I'ma mix your lean with some Grimlock. When the last time you heard it this raw? What I wish for's when the earth inherited by the pit spawn. We been to war, them the ones I'm taking risks for. Ain't got no picks or no cars to hold. Holy angels watch my steps, them Glock guard my soul. Can't let them leave my body cold. I know you feel me, nigga. Let the wicked weep and the meek prevail. God never been 50-50. I shall now awake to sleep a cell. Let the righteous cry, silence the pretender. A rebel without a cause, as long as I remember. Not taking the kingdom, the only thing on my agenda. Can't avoid me, nigga. Middle finger to the ones that try to destroy me. Revenge of beauty, I'm a beast. I told the bitch she can't eat unless she join me for dinner. My God ain't got no regard for a sinner. One call fall on him like timber. I know you feel me, nigga. In the eyes of terror, I stand still. Go to work for the colony, bring it back to the anthill. Plus everything I drop heavy as an anvil. Show you how to stand like a man in this damn field. I know you feel me, nigga. Fucking quality, it gotta be one man win and the rest lose. Wave devastating, I'm calculating my next move. U.P.K will real niggas seek refuge. Body shots for cause, then get your bruise. My niggas whole rank to check your little attitudes. I came to fuck up your move on your little holiday like I'm Mr. Scrooge. Resurrected from the grave, walking from the fall. Visions in my eyes, gripping the mic, screaming God bless the underdog. Down by the letter, and live by that protocol. Walk by faith, not by sight. Ain't no hope for struggles. Life like summer war
Purchase your tracks today.
Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black, but she Hispanic so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black, but she Hispanic so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. I can't fight the cops and the ops. Toting blocks, I be on the block. While a crack tucked in the sock. It's to help the ones I love. We was on the block for the grub. If you from my side, then it's love. Wanted big knots, busting out the jeans, but we was hurting on the fiends. Without that crack, he was just like me. Dirty nigga from the concrete, but the white man dealt the sand. So we eating up the trash can. People ride by, don't extend a hand, cause to them, this an average black man. So for him, that's why I gotta make it. I ain't talking rap before the slave ships. So kind, y'all can't take it. I can never leave my spot vacant, cause I'm black. I see crowns and I take it, cause I'm black. I never been in no spaceship, but I know a UFO when I see it. I know that it's gonna come when I need it. I put faith in God more than Bible reading. So don't play that shit, address them when you see them. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black, but she Hispanic so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black, but she Hispanic so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. Learn to flip pennies cause I'm black. Know about semis cause I'm black. Yeah, in the hood we was strapped 10 toes down, we wear sacks. Substitute Israelite with black, and you gotta guess where I'm at. I be with the priest chillin' hard, right on Malcolm X Boulevard. To you niggas, to me the stars. Everything about my life is hard, but I'll never fold, play my cards. You want beef? What's the cause? Watch your mouth, I hit hard. Back up for you need gauze. Everything you say mad pause. Every move I make is within the laws, and I've been the boss, it's beneficial. Ask the enemy, I've been official. If not for weed, I've been done official. Homie, I understand why you smoke. Been depressed since slave boats, but the Bible is the G code. Far blunts don't need those. Brotherhood is life's cheat code. Like cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black, but she Hispanic so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black, but she Hispanic so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. I don't gotta buy J's cause I'm black. I don't play 2K just cause I'm black. Fought my whole life cause I'm black, but I left his eye blowing black. Ain't got a trap cause I'm black. Ain't got not one face tat, but I'm still getting profile, cause I fit these crackers profile. Scruffy bed with the dark skin, baggy sweats with the butter Timbs, so they know they can't butter him, so they rather jail cell muzzle him. If you touching him, and you scuffing him, cause I'm a law keeper, a peace bringer, no tranquility, a peace bringer. Goose in the street sweeper, coverage clip, I be spicing shit, but gunned I would die in the icy wrist, that show the checks ain't for blocking shit. Touch me, I'm all on you blocking shit, cause I'm like, you think I gotta cock the fifth, well that's a stereotype, that's accurate, cause crackers laying niggas in these cold streets, and tell my brother he got a beat for me. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black, ops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black, but she Hispanic so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black, but she Hispanic so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. So I'm black.
No, bring it back. Play it one more time. Play it one more time.
Yo. I ain't mean to lie to y'all.
Ops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black, but she Hispanic so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black, but she Hispanic so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Judite, so I'm black. I can't fight the cops and the ops. Toting blocks heavy on the block. While the crack tucked in the sock. And still help the ones I love. We was on the block for the grub. If you from my side, then it's love. Wanted big knots, busting out the jeans, but we was hurting all the fiends. Without that crack, he was just like me. Dirty nigga from the concrete. But the white man dealt the sand. So we eating up the trash can. People ride by, don't extend a hand. Cause to them, this an average black man. So for him, that's why I gotta make it. I ain't talking rap. Before the slave ships, I'm one of a kind. But I can't take it. Could never leave my spot vacant. Cause I'm black. I see crowns and I take it cause I'm black. I never been in no spaceship, but I know it's UFO when I see it. I know that it's gonna come when I need it. I put faith in God more than Bible reading. So I don't play that shit. Address him when you see him. One kill me cause I'm black. I point kill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She won't fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black. But she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Judite, so I'm black. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She won't fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black. But she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Judite, so I'm black. Wanna flip pennies cause I'm black. Know about semis cause I'm black. Yeah, in the hood, we was strapped 10 toes down. We wear sacks. Substitute Israelite with black. And you gotta guess where I'm at. I be with the priest chilling hard. Right on Malcolm X Boulevard. To you niggas, to me the stars. Everything about my life is hard. But I'm full, play my cards. You want beef? What's the cause? Watch your mouth, I hit hard. Back up for unique goals. Everything you say, mad pause. Every move I make is within them laws. And I've been the boss, cause it's beneficial. Ask the enemy, I've been official. If not for weed, I've been the official. Homie, I understand why you smoke. Been depressed since slave boats. But the Bible is the G code. Hard blunts don't need those. Brotherhood is life's cheat code. Like cops won't kill me cause I'm black. She won't drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She won't fuck me cause I'm black. I don't like me cause I'm black. But she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Judite, so I'm black. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She won't fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black. But she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Judite, so I'm black. I don't gotta buy J's cause I'm black. I don't play 2K just cause I'm black. Fought my whole life cause I'm black. But I left his eye blue and black. Ain't got a trap cause I'm black. Ain't got not one face tat. But I'm still getting profile, cause I fit these crackers profile. Scruffy beard with the dark skin, baggy sweats with the butter Tims. So they know they can't butter him, so they rather jail cell muzzle him. If you touching him, and just cuff him. I'm a law keeper, a peace bringer, no tranquility, a peace bringer. Deuce in the street sweeper, coverage clip, I be spicing shit. But gunned I would die in the icy wrist, that showed that my chest ain't for blocking shit. Touch me, I'm all when you blocking shit, cause I'm black. You think I gotta cock the fifth? Well, that's a stereotype, that's accurate. Cause crackers laying niggas in these cold streets and then telling my brother he got a beef for me. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black, ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She won't fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black. But she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Judite, so I'm black. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She won't fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black. But she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Judite, so I'm black. So I'm black.
Yeah. Mike, talk on the mic. Talk on the mic. Yeah. For those that don't know, man, you on live with Cross the Line Radio. Cross the mother in line radio. Of course, this is formerly Israelite. Slacky. Or yeah, say the whole thing. How the whole thing go? Cross the line and get the fuck out, right? That's how.
I'm gonna make that the intro, but I'm gonna actually put like the TV.
We should get the. What we should do is get the clip where we said cross the line or get the fuck out.
No, that's the one.
Yeah. That's the one we should get.
Bleep it though.
No, that's cool. You can bleep
You know
it. That's cool.
saying?
You should bleep it.
I'm like the TV bleep.
Yeah, that's good.
I feel like those add in so.
Yeah, man. Listen, Tazaryach started a welcoming war that day. Like Tazaryach is the reason we changed the name. Of course, y'all know we used to be Israelite Vibes. We changed the name to Cross the Line Radio. We going in our 4th mother freaking year. Me and this brother right here, who he did not want me on the show originally.
That's not true.
That is, and we can just give a little history. Tazaryach did not want me on the show, and it just so happened that as they was doing the show, I just asked if I could be on one show with him, and the chemistry between me and Tazaryach, for those that don't know, is only chemistry I know better than me and Tazaryach is Commander GEN.YAHANNA and GEN.YAHANNA as far as radio shows go.
Right.
And so from 3 years ago, we embarked on doing this show. We're now working on our 4th year. So we changing up that format a little bit. to where we're going to be doing more interviews. I'm waiting on, I believe, Pastor
But
Russ.
tell
I
him the
believe
truth,
he
though.
just called me.
Tell him the truth, though. Tell him who invited you back to stay.
Okay, I was only initially coming on to just do one show. And I was just coming on to do one show to help the brother out. I believe the pastor, brother Russ is calling me. So I'm going to try to see if I can get him on real fast. But I had originally was only planning on doing one show. Brother, are you there? Hold on 1 second. Let me know if you can get him in there. Can you hear me now? You said barely? He said he could barely hear me.
He low. How about now? He's very low.
Okay, call me from your house phone and I'll put you right on. Yeah, you can call either number. You can call the number I gave you, or you can call this this number here.
I'm gonna call this number right back.
There we go.
Oh no. How it sound now? I think you might be good to go now.
Yeah, you sound all right.
There we go.
Okay, yeah, you sound.
But I'll probably be better if I use my house phone because I'm down in my basement at my computer.
Okay, so go ahead and call me back. I'll be waiting for your call. Either number you call is good to go.
I'm calling from 847-689-8238.
Got you covered.
I'll call this. Which number you want me to call?
Either
this
one. Either
right,
one.
Okay.
It comes to the same phone. Either one.
All right. Okay.
All right. No sweat. Right. So now, for those that don't know, okay, the history is he was doing the show by himself. Because I had learned how to do the radio shows under Commander GEN.YAHANNA, I just offered to do one show with him so I could help him with the format. After that, Kadazai said, don't leave, you should stay on the show. The rest is history. We've been whooping ass on the show ever since. No one calls into the show twice except Sinetta, and he just likes ass whoopings. That's, right. He likes, but nobody else has called. I made vocab famous. Hold on 1 second. No, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the callers. For those that don't know, I had Brother Russ on the line. Are you there, brother?
Yes, I'm here. That's Brother Russ. R-U-S-S.
Brother Russ. Yeah, no, I think. I said Ross. Did I say Ross or Russ?
Ross.
Oh, okay. I apologize for that. I did not mean to get your name wrong. And what's the name of the organization that you come from?
Israel's Church of the Living God.
Okay, so this is Brother Russ from the Israel's Church of the Living God, and I believe it's in Zion, Illinois. Is how you put it, correct?
That's right. Zion, Illinois. Right.
Okay, no sweat. So now I just want to finish giving a backdrop because we're working on our 4th year of the show, and then I'm going to bring you right in if you don't mind.
No problem, bro.
I appreciate it. So we've been 4 years strong on the show. So the show used to be called Israelite Vibes. So we have since switched it to Cross the Line. We have a new format where we're going to be more interactive with having special guests on the show, like Brother Russ that's on the line. Anybody else that wants to be a guest on the show to have a dialogue, and it don't have to always be a debate. This one happens to be a debate. It don't have to always be a debate. It can be an interview. It could be a conversation dealing with issues. Even with Brother Russ, after we do this dialogue, if he maybe want to come back on to address something pressing for Blacks and Hispanics, we could always do that. So now, of course, for those that don't know, again, this is Brother Russ from Zion, Illinois. We had a dialogue yesterday, and he contacted me. I contacted him. We decided to continue that dialogue. So before we continue, Brother Russ, if you just want to give a quick background of yourself, your organization, where you come from, before we, go ahead and exchange on the topics we discussed.
Sure. I'm Brother Russ from Israel's Church of Living God. We've been in service for about going on 7 years now. Mm-hmm. And like I said, we're located in Zion, Illinois. That's just north of Waukegan. I'm originally from Chicago, the south side of Chicago.
Okay.
And I've been in the Word about 22 odd years, somewhere around there. And I've been ministering for maybe around 10 years or so.
Okay.
And by trade, I'm a truck driver.
Okay.
And Lord has blessed me with my own truck and everything, so I'm a carrier now. So
okay, that's
just to
pretty
give
good.
you a little bit about myself.
I appreciate it. So, of course, yesterday we was dialoguing about the Gentiles, and you brought up your scriptures, and of course, you can always correct me if I'm wrong. But from your understanding, we are the Israelites. The Gentiles will be the white man, and the white man has a access or set of foundation or salvation that he can receive from us. If I'm wording that wrong, of course, you can correct me. My stance, of course, is that the Bible, from Genesis to Revelations, is a covenant, whether it's the Old Covenant or the New Covenant or Old Testament, New Testament, only belongs to the children of Israel. So will I be correct in assessing your side or perspective?
Well, not quite, because salvation is accessible to all, not just Gentiles, but to all people.
Okay. So now with that said, what would be your proving point for that?
Well, as we read the scriptures yesterday evening, we could go back over those.
That's what I was going to say. Right. Before, not to cut you off, some listeners that was on the show that might have listened yesterday might not be listening today. So if you ever want to go, rehash the scriptures that you went through, it's not a big deal, but you got the floor, brother.
All right. Well, not necessarily I would have to go over all of those scriptures, but I will say just a few of them, and then some more from there. So I would start off, though, with Genesis, the 18th chapter.
Okay.
Which I didn't cover yesterday.
Okay.
So I'm going to pick it up at verse 7. Genesis 18 and 18. Let's see. Let's go back here. Genesis 18 and 16.
Okay.
16.
Okay.
And the man rose up from thence and looked toward Sodom, and Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. And the Lord said, shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do, seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. So all the nations are going to be blessed in Abraham. Now, this is even before the Israelites even came on the scene. God had given this prophecy by Moses, and several other places in Genesis that speaks of this too, that through Abraham all the nations of the earth are going to be blessed. But I would call your attention to Galatians, which pretty much says the same thing when you get to Galatians.
Okay, you said you're going to Galatians, the 4th chapter?
Yeah, Galatians 4.
Got you.
And that Galatians 4 and 6. Hold on one second. All right, pick it up at verse 6. And because you are sons, God has sent forth the Spirit of the Son into the hearts of crying, Abba, Father. Wherefore thou art no more a servant, but a son. And if a son, then an heir of God through Christ. Howbeit, then, when ye knew not God, ye did service unto them, which by nature are no gods. Now, right here, he's talking to the Gentiles. But now, let me just bag up a little bit.
Okay.
Hold on one second.
Which one?
Give me a second here. Hold on one second. Do I want to go there? Hold on. Let me get my scripture together.
Okay.
While I'm getting that scripture together, you can go ahead and say what you got to say, brother.
Okay, I got it. When you pull Galatians, the 4th chapter, you start at verse 6. You said, and because ye are sons, God sent forth the Spirit of his sons into your hearts, crying, Abba, Father. Wherefore there are no more servants, but a son. If the son, then an heir of God through Christ. Howbeit then, when ye knew not the Most High, ye did service unto them which by nature no gods. You take that to mean that that's talking about non-Israelites, for lack of it. Okay.
Well, I'm taking this to mean that this is Paul speaking to the Galatians, which are Greeks, which are Gentiles. This is who
Right.
Paul is talking to.
Right. Now,
Mhm.
of course, with all things, we have to understand the context of the subject that we're talking about. So when you read verse 6, what we would have to do is at least start at verse 5 to understand
Yeah.
the subject or people who he was talking to.
Mhm.
So when you read Galatians 4 verse 5, Paul says to redeem them that were under the law. So now once he says to redeem them that were under the law, what would that force you to do? You would have to first find out who was under the law, and then you would know who the redemption is, and then you would know who's the sons that he's talking about when you go further down in the verse. So when you say that means everybody or the Gentiles, you have to also understand, like we was talking about yesterday, when it talks about Gentiles wasn't always Israelites once we became scattered. When you go back in the history of Israel, the 2 Kings, the 17th chapter, that's when you see the northern kingdom get split from the southern kingdom. That's when you literally then had two kingdoms. So you would always hear house of Israel, house of Judah. House of Israel would encompass about 9.5 tribes. The house of Judah would encompass 2.5. Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and the northern kingdom had the rest. So the Gentiles were the northern kingdom, or any Israelite that was not in Jerusalem. That's why they're in Galatians. So when it starts out at verse 5, that's what makes the remaining verses clear, because it says to redeem them.
Not to cut you off, brother, but can you read that to me?
Well, Galatians 4 and 5?
No, what you're saying about
give me 2 Kings 17.
the northern kingdom being the Gentiles. Can you read that to me?
Yeah, okay. Now I read it to you yesterday, but I'll read it to you again. Get me
Well, you didn't say this yesterday, brother. You didn't say nothing about the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. You just brought that up today. So I'm asking you to show. Hold on one second. I'm asking you to show me. I know it's your show.
No.
I'm asking you to show me in the Bible, in the Old Testament or the New Testament, Romans, wherever you want to go. Show me where it says the northern kingdom was the Gentiles. Read
okay,
that
no
to
sweat. I got you. I'm gonna finish reading this, and I'm gonna show you that. Give me back to Romans 9 and 24, and give me Hosea 1 and 9 when it talks about Hosea not being his people. Galatians 4 and 5. So when it says to redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoption of sons, now we know Paul is saying he wants to redeem them that were under the law. So then it says, because ye are sons, the Most High has sent forth the Spirit of his Son into your hearts. Meaning, that's why it says, wherefore thou art no more a servant, but a son, and if a son, then an heir of the Most High through Christ. Howbeit then, when you knew not God, ye did this service unto them by nature, which are no gods, because the Spirit of our Father was always in us. That's why even in Romans, the 2nd chapter that you pulled yesterday, when it says they that have not the law become a law to themselves, because we always knew what the laws were. We just kept rejecting the laws. That's why Galatians 4 and 5 says to redeem them that were under the law. You got Romans 9 and 24?
Romans chapter 9, verse 24.
Right.
Even us, whom he hath called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles.
So now I believe your inclination, based on your stance, like I said yesterday, you say that these Gentiles would be non-Israelites. Now
yeah, but brother, I understand you doing your thing and I understand that, but you just said that the northern kingdom was called Gentiles.
No,
so
I said
now
the northern
I'm looking
kingdom
for you to show me where that is in the Bible.
What I told you is that the northern kingdom was cut off and would be considered and would be considered Gentile.
Can you read that to me?
Oh, no sweat. When you're cut off and you're not God's people, what would you be?
An unbeliever.
But what would you be? Would you still
an
be
an unbeliever?
But would you still be an Israelite according to the scriptures?
Would you still be an Israel? Yeah, of course you're still an Israelite. You're an Israelite. A man's pedigree don't change because he's not walking. Hold on one second. Because he's not walking in the Word of God. His pedigree don't change. He's still an Israelite.
You wouldn't be called a stranger. You wouldn't be called a sojourner. You wouldn't be called a Gentile. You wouldn't be called none of these. You wouldn't be called like Okay, let me make it even
Well,
plainer.
you read that scripture yesterday. I think that was Leviticus, the 19th chapter over there.
25th
well,
chapter.
I don't have no problem with that because over in Exodus, and even in Deuteronomy, the Lord say, "Love ye there for the stranger, Israel, for thou wert a stranger in Israel." In Egypt. So
the only difference there, though, is that you can find stranger where stranger is actually a non-Israelite, and it's telling us how to deal with non-Israelites.
Okay, I don't have no problem with that.
Right, but
I don't have no problem with
what I'm
but
speaking
the fact still
of,
remains, though.
1 second. But what I'm speaking of is Israelites becoming strangers and sojourners and Gentiles and being looked at as heathens by other Israelites. That's what we're talking about right now. I'm not talking about what they would be in
something's not adding up, brother, because you saying that. First of all, and I don't want to dwell on yesterday too much because we're on another show, but the fact still remains, though. You're telling me that an Israelite can be called a Gentile, but then you turn around and say the Gentile cannot be called an Israelite. So now that's something wrong with that picture.
But that's not what I said, though. But
I told you yesterday, I read you Romans, the 2nd chapter, which you brought up. He is a Jew, which is one inwardly and outwardly, and not of that of the flesh.
Right.
Let me get over there and read that. So you're the one who said, well, a Jew can't, a Gentile can't be a Jew. He can't be a spiritual Jew. But you telling me that a Jew can be a Gentile?
An Israelite can
an Israelite, a Jew, same people.
I'm about to explain it to you. An Israelite can be in the spirit a Gentile. That's the whole purpose. I'm not talking. I'm gonna explain it to you.
Where does it say that? I'm sorry, bro. I don't mean
you just gotta let me explain it. Here's what I mean.
Go ahead.
If you look at us,
scripture? What is scripture at? What is scripture?
1 second. If you look at us right now, right? I'm talking about us in America today, right? Are we Israelites?
That's right.
Okay, so when you go out on the streets and you see black people, are they Israelites?
Don't know. If I don't know their pedigree, I just can't say every man is an Israelite.
Why wouldn't you say every man is Israelite if you just said black people are Israelites? Why wouldn't you say that?
Because you could have an African guy walking down the streets.
No, okay.
Is he an Israelite?
Let's take away from the fact of whether they're African or not. Let's just take the fact we got 100 black people outside, right? We know that they're black. Of us. Are they Israelites?
Okay. All right. Cool.
Okay. Are they Israelites?
Yep.
What do they call themselves?
Say that one more time.
What do they call themselves?
They call themselves African Americans.
Why?
Because that's the name that was given to them, just like Negro was given to them.
No sweat.
Just like black was given to them.
I got you. So the same way that they call themselves African Americans is the same exact way that they were calling themselves Greeks and Hellenes, etc., because it was forced on them to do that. It was damn near against the law to even profess to be a Jew. If you circumcised your baby, they was killing their babies to make them stop being Jews.
Well,
one second. I'm trying to explain. I can read that to you.
I mean, you read that. I mean, you said that yesterday.
No, I didn't say this part yesterday.
Read it to me, but you can't read me that in the Bible.
Give me First Maccabees the 6th. I'll read it for you.
Well, you go on to Maccabees. Okay, that's fine.
Bible,
I don't have no problem with that.
I got you.
But why can't you find that in the book that's canonized right here that's in the Bible?
Second Maccabees 6 and 6. Second Maccabees 6 and 6, and give me First Maccabees 1 and close to the end of the chapter. It's all the Bible though. Whether it's Old Testament, New Testament,
well, I don't really per se deal with the Maccabees, and I really don't deal
Christ
with that.
Did, though.
So I would rather you keep it in the Bible that we are reading here, the King James Version.
Well, that's the King James Version I'm reading, and Christ.
Well, I don't have no Maccabees in my book, so I can't see what you're reading.
I understand, but Christ followed after the Maccabees. That's why he kept the Feast of Dedication, because that came from the Maccabees. So if Christ can respect the Maccabees, I think you can respect the Maccabees.
I don't have no problem with that.
Okay.
I don't have no problem with that.
I got you. So let's read. You got the Second Maccabees one? Read that. You don't have to read it loud. Just read it.
Second Maccabees 6 and 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient fasts.
Read the verse above that.
Verse 5. The altar also was filled with profane things, which the law forbid.
Matter of fact, read that verse.
Okay, I mean, you
Read
read that,
verse
but
6.
I can read you in the Bible where the Lord said that Israel wasn't going to keep. He was going to take away these Sabbaths and their feast days.
Listen,
and
but
all
you
of that.
gotta
So
listen
the Lord
to.
said that.
Remember the statement that I said though. I said that they made it a law to not be a Jew. Keep reading that verse.
6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days.
So now it became unlawful for them to keep a Sabbath day. Keep going.
Or ancient fast.
Or any of the ancient fasts. Go ahead.
Or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
So what would he have to
Okay,
profess to
all
be?
right. Well, hold on one second. Hold on one second. Now,
Before you ask me a question.
Didn't the Lord say that was going to happen to Israel?
But before you ask me a question, remember you asking me, why did I say they called them? Why were they considered Gentiles? You're asking me these questions, and I'm answering your questions, and you're asking for scriptures, and I'm giving you the scriptures. So now, if it was unlawful for them to keep a Sabbath day, keep the feast days, when you read First Maccabees, the first chapter and the 60th verse, it said at which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised, and they hanged the infants about their necks and rifled their houses and slew them that had circumcised them. How now, if the Romans and the Greeks are doing that to these people and then making it unlawful for them to profess to be a Jew, is that not the same as us when we came over here in slavery and they made us stop being
Hold on, wait, okay, hold on 1 second.
You can't keep interrupting me
so
because
now,
you can't keep interrupting me. You gotta let me finish my point, and then I'll give you the respect of the floor. I talked about this before we spoke. I appreciate it. So what would they call themselves if they can't call themselves a Jew? No different than we came over here. We had to take on whatever name the man that was butchering us gave us. That's how they became Hellenists. That's how they became Greeks. That's how they became the term to be called Gentiles. And even when you look at the Greek definition, when you read Romans, when you read other places, when you look at the Greek definition, it says it's Hellenes, because that's what they are. So in the English translation, it says Greek, Gentile. But when you read it in the Greek, it's Hellenist. And a Hellenist is a person in times who was Greek in language, outlook, and way of life, but was not Greek, an ancestry, especially Hellenized Jew. So although you see in the English word Gentile, when you read the Greek, which is what it was written in, it'll tell you that it was Hellenes. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. You can respond.
All right, okay. So now, that might be fine and dandy what you're saying, but show me in the Bible where Paul called himself a Gentile. Now, I know he said he was a Roman. He never called himself a Gentile. You don't see Peter, James, John, none of them calling themselves a Gentile. So that BC, that Michael Bead stuff, the thing that you're reading there, that's fine, during the BC. But now we down in the first century right here, and so now these people right here, that the apostles and the Israelites and the Jews, they never called themselves Gentiles. Now, second of all is when you turn around and say a Jew can call himself a Gentile, but a Gentile can't call himself a Jew, something wrong with that picture. Okay, because at this time in the first century, Israel was pretty much in control of
Israel
Jerusalem.
was never in control, though.
Hold on 1 second.
Before you do that, let's
look at who was really in control then. If we want to go there, the Herodians were in control. The Herods were in control.
So, but you can't say
and
Israel
those were
was in control.
Edomites.
You can't say Israel,
Edomites.
but you can't start off by saying the Jews was in control, and then when I question you on it, then you say, well, let's get to
What's your question? What's your question?
When I question you on who was in charge, then you say, well, let's get to the nitty gritty of it, and you bring up the Herodians who were Edomites.
Yeah.
Now, but I'm not going to respond yet. My co-host is going to respond. 1 second.
Go ahead.
Let me help you out with where you're getting jammed up, brother. You understand?
Oh no, I'm not getting jammed up.
You are getting jammed up. That's
you just got it.
I'm gonna help
you
you out.
got your doctrine.
No problem.
You know,
remember,
I know you're gonna try to stick to them, but we're gonna read some more books though in a second. As soon as we stop all this talking, we're gonna read some books.
What you got to do is stop the talking, hold your peace, and let me respond to what you said. You understand?
Go ahead, brother.
All right, the water. So now, what happens is that Gentiles has context. You understand? And you don't really understand that entirety of the context. And I'm going to help you understand it right now. The reason as to why you're not going to hear Peter or Paul call themselves a Gentile is because they grew up in their culture in Judea, knowing that they were Jews, following and keeping the laws. Even Paul himself said that he was a Pharisee and studied under Gamaliel. He would have no need to call himself a Gentile because he was not Hellenized.
Right.
Now, I'm going to give you a modern
Paul
example.
called himself a Roman, though.
Okay,
what are you talking about? He called himself a Roman. He never called himself a Gentile.
Once again, brother, I didn't open my mouth this whole time. You need discipline. That's an emotional nature that you have. So hold your peace for a minute. Now, once again, he wouldn't call himself a Gentile because he knew who he was. He said that he was a Roman, much like today. I know I am an Israelite, just like Captain Tazaryach knows. And you know what we would say if we were in court or something like that? I'm an American citizen.
Right.
You understand? That is my citizenship. Do not confuse citizenship with nationality. You understand?
And when,
now,
if I could, and when
sure.
Paul said, and when Paul brought, yes, you are, because when Paul brought it up, Paul said he was a citizen. Right. Paul never said he was a Roman. He said he never was a called citizen.
Himself a Gentile.
Okay, and he wouldn't call himself a Gentile because he knew his identity and kept
the
law.
And so now you can't see anybody in the Bible. You can't see anybody. Hold on, brother. Hold on, brother. I mean, you can't do all the talking.
I'm not going to hold up.
And you can't. And then you won't want to listen.
You talk
because you're trying to teach me.
You understand? So let me help you out. Now I'm going to give you.
No, wait a minute. Hold on.
No, that's
slow down for a minute. Slow down for a minute. So now.
Listen,
first of all, you can't show me nowhere in the Bible that either one of these brothers called themselves a Gentile. Show me in the Bible where these brothers called themselves a Gentile.
I'm trying to help you out.
That's all you got to do.
I'm going to clarify. First of all, we showed you where that was already.
You ain't showed me that. You said that. You ain't showed nothing. You said that. You gave a story. You gave your interpretation, and you gave a story. You didn't show anywhere where a Jew called himself a Gentile.
We're not going to go anywhere until you learn how to hold your peace and get.
Well, you got to hold your peace too. You can't do all the talking.
Hey, Russ, this is
what women do.
And Russ, this is why when I spoke to you on the phone, I said we can do it in intervals. For this very reason. And you said, no, we can go back and forth and have a good dialogue, etc., like that. And you're seeing you can't be quiet. But you can't be quiet.
You all get to do all the talking?
When you talk, we're quiet. When we talk, you immediately start talking. And that's not how you have disciplined dialogue.
Tazaryach. I tell you what, Tazaryach, you go ahead and say what you got to say and read your scripture. But so far, you haven't shown me anywhere in the Bible where a Jew called himself a Gentile. Nowhere.
No sweat. You want to finish?
Yeah, I am going to finish. And obviously...
No, that's okay. I'd rather listen to Tazaryach.
Well, you're going to hear from me right now.
That's who I'm dealing with.
I hear. Well, you're dealing with me
because I still think that you are a Gentile yourself. You a Gentile.
You know what? Well, let me help you out with something, right? See, this is what's funny because I actually listened to that show.
That is abomination for a Gentile to try to teach a Jew.
Hold on 1 second. So I'm going to just turn him down for a minute so that y'all can hear what the hell I got to say. You can just listen now. Nobody can hear you. Muted. Thank you. So let me help you out. Here's the problem with what this brother's saying when he tries to accuse me of being a Gentile. You love Gentiles.
Right.
You understand? To the point where this is what I don't understand. You're saying you have a problem with me being a Gentile, but for the past 2 days, the dialogue has been about you trying to save a so-called Gentile.
Absolutely.
It's been about you trying to save a so-called white man. And you're the one who believes that a Gentile who joins himself onto a Jew is an Israelite spiritually, and he can walk through those 12 gates. So therefore, according to you, I'm an Israelite no matter which way you slice it.
It shouldn't even come up.
It shouldn't even come up then because of that. But you have no leg to stand on. So what you're trying to do is try to take away some sort of validity. So what is it? Does it benefit you to be an Israelite, or does it benefit you to be a Gentile? Because it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter if there could be a spiritual Israelite. How can a spiritual Israelite not teach? Because there is no such thing as a spiritual Israelite. The problem is you are a proud, unlearned, undisciplined, emotional Christian who doesn't understand these scriptures. Now, I'm going to attempt to turn you back up. You understand that? And you're going to deal with me for a minute. I'm going to say what the hell I got to say, and then we'll continue the dialogue. You understand?
That's when you need bomber drops. I ain't hear no answer sway.
So you pulled me back up.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Do you understand
okay,
now?
all right. First of all, now that thing that you're talking about, that you can't be a spiritual Jew.
It's very simple.
Well, here it is right here. This is Romans the 2nd chapter in verse 24.
Didn't we go over this yesterday?
And just to let you know, all that other stuff you was talking about, that don't mean nothing to me. Okay, for the name, because like I said, a Jew, a Gentile, a Hamite, any one of them could get salvation, and I'm standing on it. So you can say what you want to say. You can mute me, whatever you want to do.
You understand?
Now, if your father is black or your grandfather is black, then okay, you are a Jew.
Oh, there you go. Okay, well,
all right. Well, that's I don't have no problem with that.
My grandfather,
but hold on now. But hold on now. So now, when you see in the Bible the lineage, when you see the Bible in the Bible lineage, just like Esau, when he married Ishmael's daughter. That Ishmael, and they had a child. That child no more an Ishmael. That child not an Ishmaelite. It's an Edomite. Same thing with the Gentile. You said Esau is a white man. How could Esau be the white man? If the white man laid with Esau and had a child, then that child is white. It is not an Edomite. So now you listen.
That's the problem.
You understand? So now I'm gonna show you now who the spiritual. I'm gonna show you who the spiritual Israelite is. For the 2:24, for the name of God is blasphemed among the Gentiles through you, as is written. For circumcision barely profit if thou keep the law, but if thou be a breaker of the law, thy circumcision is made uncircumcision. Now this is Paul talking to the Romans right here. Therefore, if the uncircumcision, which are the Gentiles, and the strangers keep the righteousness of the law, shall not his uncircumcision be counted for circumcision? And shall not uncircumcision, which by nature, if it fulfill the law, judge thee? So now he's telling you that the Gentiles they keeping the law. The stranger, he keeping the law. So shouldn't he be in Israel? You're supposed to be keeping the law. Shouldn't he be able to judge you? With him keeping the law, you not keeping the law? Then he turned around and said, verse 28, for he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly. You understand flesh? You understand your color and all? Neither is that circumcision which is outward in the flesh. But he is a Jew which is one inwardly.
He just cut himself.
Right.
Because according to your own context, then you being a
Jew.
Can I finish? No, you can't.
Can I finish?
No, you can't.
Can I finish?
No, you can't. You can't actually.
Okay, well then.
Okay, so according to, here it is good. According to his own context, what he's saying then is that a Jew can't judge a Gentile then if he joins you. You get what I'm saying? So according to your own context, you can't even say what you're saying to me if you believe me to be a Gentile. But the problem is your entire doctrine is on hypocrisy. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. And you need to learn how to shut your mouth. Otherwise, this isn't going to go nowhere. Because listen, bro, at the end of the day, we still got stories lined up. You get what I'm saying? I wish we could talk about Terry Crews. There's a lot going on in the world. Donald Trump messing things up. You understand? So you can either learn discipline quickly, or we can just get back to our regular scheduled program.
Indeed.
Just like when I was talking to Tazaryach last night. When the brother talking with some sense. Now you talking about emotion. Me to be quiet and get emotional. Don't get emotional. You straight up emotional. So I don't know who you thought you was talking to.
I'm cool as a fan. So
you straight up emotional. Now Tazaryach, when he talked last night, he had his emotions under control. I went a little haywire, little bit, but then I calmed down.
You went way haywire.
I cut you off, brother. I ain't gonna
every single time. Every single time.
I went a little haywire or whatever.
Yeah.
But your boy doing the same thing now that he accusing me of. So now who you think you talking to?
Because I'm trying to tell you ain't gonna talk over here.
I'm gonna tell you. No, we ain't even got. It ain't even that far. The reason why And this is why sometimes when you do debates, it's better to have a time limit, because the man that cannot be quiet will always mess it up. And that's where it went left. It went left. It went
I
left.
tell you what, I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet. How much time you need?
No, you can have the time.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought this was okay, man. Y'all got me confused. 1 minute you say be quiet, don't be emotional. Then your brother turn around, he started running his mouth and he emotional. Now you telling me I got the time. What you want me to do?
Because Tazaryach explained his case. Everybody heard his case. But the problem is we had to turn you. Here's the problem. The problem is we had to turn your mic off for Tazaryach to get his case heard because you wouldn't be quiet. So Tazaryach don't have to repeat itself. Everybody heard it. The only problem is you're going to talk, which is what you did yesterday, which is what you immediately did today. I gave you the whole floor, let you explain your Galatians, the 4th chapter. The minute I start talking, you say, well, I want you to show me where Israelite is a Gentile. And that's where it went. And that's where it went left. But you should have let me finish responding to your first set and then let that be your next question. That's how a normal debate goes. When you the whole time you was talking, the whole time wait, hold on. Let me tell you something.
You're still doing it.
The whole time you was talking, the whole time that you was in a normal debate. I've been in debates. I've been in debates where you have a 15-minute segment, 30-minute segment, and during those 15 minutes while the one combatant is talking, I ain't say not one word. That's why when you did your Galatians breakdown, the only reason,
okay,
1 second, you need to hear this because you need to learn.
Tazaryach, let's go. Let's go.
I'll be finished in a second. I didn't start talking until you told me. You said, I'm looking for something else. You can respond to what I said. And then I spoke. When I started speaking.
All right, brother. Okay, brother. You're right. Go ahead.
No,
go ahead, I said,
no, I said, right. I got you. That's fine. You want to say I'm right. But I said, you can go ahead. Tazaryach explained his case. So now you can go ahead. We know what structure and order is.
No. I tell you what. It's your show. You say I'm being aggressive. My brother told me to calm down.
Between
so
aggressive
I'm gonna calm down
and
do your thing. Do your thing.
No sweat, but there's a difference between aggression and emotion. That was
okay,
emotion.
No problem. No problem. As you always say, no problem.
I say no
you
sweat.
Got the floor, brother.
That's what I say. I say no sweat. But anyway.
Okay, no sweat. Right. Okay, you're right.
Yeah, I know.
You're right, man. All right, go ahead. Do your thing.
Right. No sweat. So now, what we was doing in the beginning before we was cut off, you was asking about how you were saying, how can you show in the scriptures that Israelites were considered Gentiles? That's what you was asking. And I had
No, sir. That's
you
not
said
what
to show the scripture.
Show me in the Bible.
You said show you in the what scripture? Well, let's say scripture or Bible is the same thing. You said show you in the
I know that.
All right, so you said show you in the scriptures where an Israelite would be called a Gentile. That's what your question was. So although I responded to this yesterday, I went a little deeper. I probably went a little deeper, more so because it's my show. So I went a little deeper by showing you the history. So why did I have to go to the Maccabees? To show you the history of how they became Hellenized, how they became called something other than a Jew, something other than an Israelite. So I had to show you that history. That's why we had to go to the Maccabees, so that when Paul is talking, and we got to go to Hosea, so that when Paul is starting talking to these men in Rome that were calling themselves, they weren't just calling themselves Roman citizens, they were looking at themselves as Romans, even though they knew they was Israelites. That's why I gave the same comparison of 100 black men that we know are black men are calling themselves African American, because that's what they believe they are. You know what we would call them in the Bible? We would call them Gentiles or strangers or sojourners, because that's the term that was used for a non-Israelite. So he rejects his own name, so we would put a name on him that wasn't his until he came back. No different than we all were. At one point, I would be considered a Gentile because I didn't know I was an Israelite until I woke up to my heritage. So what Paul is doing in Rome is waking him to his heritage and using the scriptures to prove it, and I'm going to prove it. In Romans 9:24, is anybody holding that for me?
Romans 9:24. Do your thing.
You got it? Read that. Romans. You got it? Go ahead, read it.
Romans chapter 9, verse 24. Even us, whom he hath called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles.
So Okay, no sweat. So now here, Paul says, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles.
Oh, but excuse me 1 second, Captain. Excuse me 1 second.
This is what I mean when cutting off. Like, you should probably jot down what you want to say, and then, like, I'm skilled at this. This is why I love the Most High.
But brother, we done this last night. You read the same scripture,
and you still don't get it. And
Israel is called Gentiles. You're saying that.
The question that I'm asking you. Okay, so here's the question I'm asking you.
No. It's your show. I want you to show me.
If it's my show, I should be able to ask you my question, right? If it's my show, I should be able to ask you my question, right?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So wait, no. You said I can ask you my question. So let me ask you my question, and I'll continue. Who are the
okay, all right. Your show. Go ahead, brother.
Thank you. Who said that? Oh, who are the Gentiles in that verse?
The Gentiles would be you was in Romans, right?
Yeah, Romans 9:24.
The Gentiles would be the Romans.
Okay,
or
so
the
now.
Italians.
Okay, so now, with that said, if I prove that the Gentiles in that verse are not the Italians but the Israelites, I'm answering your question.
Okay, I get that.
Okay, no sweat. So wait. So let me finish answering. So how can you not understand this?
Brother, just because you see the word Jew and Gentile together does not mean
but
that
you
it's
said
talking about one people.
Do you even understand what I said to you? I said to you, who are the Gentiles in this verse? You said those are the Romans and Greeks. I said to you, I
didn't say that.
You said they're the Romans and who else?
I just said that these were the Romans.
Okay, you said they're the Romans. Now I said that this is not the Romans, that this is no sweat, that this is Israelites. Now, if I show you that Paul was referring to Israelites when he called them Gentiles, I'm answering your question. If you don't understand it, this is simple, basic.
No, it's not.
This is simple common sense.
No, it's not. No, it's not. That's you saying that.
So why does he say?
Israelites
so now I'm gonna ask you another question.
That's not what
now I'm gonna ask you.
Now I'm gonna ask you another question.
I'm gonna ask you another question. In verse 20, in verse 25, when
where are we at? 9 and 25.
Yes. In verse 25, when he says, "As he also saith in OC," who's that? Who's OC?
This would be an Israelite.
No, I mean, who is OC specifically?
Oh, Hosea.
Okay, that's Hosea, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means that Paul is quoting Hosea, right?
Yeah.
So him quoting Hosea has to do with the Jews and the Gentiles, correct?
This right here is dealing with the Gentiles and the Jews.
Perfect. Okay, perfect.
Hold on.
Perfect.
Hold on. Now, because you started at verse 24, right?
I was at 24.
How about if we start from verse 1?
I don't know if you want to go that far. I don't know if you want to do that. You don't want to do that. If you want to do that, I don't mind. If you want to do that, I'm all fine with that. Let's start at verse 1. You read. You want me to read or you want to read?
Brother, I can't understand you when you're hollering like that.
I just got excited. I'm sorry. I'm my bad. I got excited when you said you wanted to go to verse 1. Now, you want to read verse 1 or you want me to read verse 1? We can start at verse 1.
All right. I say the truth in Christ, I lie not. Mm-hmm. My conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Ghost. Mm-hmm. That I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. Mm-hmm. For I could wish that myself were accursed for Christ, for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh.
According to what?
Israelite.
According to what?
According to the flesh.
Which is important.
Israelite.
Go ahead.
To whom pertains the adoption. Glory, the covenant, the giving of the law, and the service of God, and the promises, and whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Christ came, who is over all, God bless forever. Amen. Not as though the word of God have taken non effect, for they are not all Israel which are Israel.
Right, right. Listen, I'm with you. Listen, I'm with you right
all
now.
The way.
I'm with you.
I can't hear you though, man, when you get all emotional like that.
I'm not emotional. I'm just excited because I'm so glad that you started reading these verses. I'm not against you right now. I'm with you. Keep going.
All right, brother. All right.
Going.
We can reason together then.
Go ahead. You want me to read or you want to read?
No, not as though the word of God has taken none effect, but they are not all Israel, which are Israel. Neither because
which are
they are
of Israel. That's a
the
big
seed
difference.
of Abraham are they all children.
Neither
But
what?
Isaac shall thy seed be called.
Okay, can we just
That
stop for
is-
brother? Hey Russ, can we just stop?
Yes.
Can we just stop for 1 second just to touch on some of them verses?
Go ahead.
Okay, so now I'm gonna go look. I'm gonna go when it says for I wish that myself were accursed from Christ, for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh. Paul is talking about a specific people. The people that he's talking about is his brothers, his kinsmen, his family. No sweat. Who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption. Now, those Israelites is all 12 tribes of Israel, though. Not just Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, but Asher, Naphtali, Issachar, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, etc. It says, to whom pertaineth the adoption, the glory, the covenants, the giving of the law, the service of God, and the promises. He's telling you that that only belongs to the Israelites. It don't belong to nobody else. Verse 5.
I never said that it belonged to anyone else. I know God gave this, he gave everything to Israel, but he gave it to Israel to give it to everybody else. Because I mean, if we're a nation of priests, if he calls a nation of priests, then who are they supposed to teach? Israelites? Then what are they supposed to teach the world? And that's what the whole deal was. We blew the mission because we were supposed to teach the world. Not just Israel, but the whole world. That's in Deuteronomy 4th chapter. Okay,
I got you.
If I take you all the way back to where I took you yesterday, Exodus the 12th chapter, where the stranger going to be as one that is born in the land, and it's going to be one law for all. When Israel came out of Egypt, it was a mixed multitude.
That mixed multitude was only Israel.
Israel is mixed multitude.
That mixed multitude was only Israel. That mixed multitude was only Israel. But that's a different. That's a different. Wait. I don't want to change. I don't want to get out of Romans 9. I just want to make a statement. You brought that.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
No sweat.
Hold on 1 second, Tazaryach.
No sweat. Go ahead, brother.
All right. So now the mixed multitude.
I don't want to change subjects though.
Israel to Nehemiah.
I don't want to change subjects though. I don't want to.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I'm just trying to prove a point myself now.
Okay, go ahead.
When you start talking about the mixed multitude with all Israelites, why does the book call him a stranger? And then he said if he's going to partake of the Passover, he's going to be bought with money. If he's going to partake of the Passover, let all his meals be circumcised.
That's laws. That was laws, though. We talking about who came out the Passover, and you're talking about laws. Those are two different things.
No. Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, let me just.
It says one law shall be to him that is.
Hold on. Now, when Israel came out of Egypt, how many people was it?
I don't have the exact number in my head right now.
Okay, it was like 600,000 of them.
It says it was only 600,000 on that was footmen. That was the army. That's all that 600,000.
They talked about the women and the children. They talked about the women and children. Then it said, and a mixed multitude came up out of Egypt with the children of Israel.
You're reading that wrong. You just read that all wrong. Exodus 12 and 37. It says I'm reading it now. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramsey to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men besides children. Stop. That means that 600,000 was only men. That's it. And then verse 30. No sweat. And then verse 30. No sweat. Let me finish. Let me.
I agree with you.
Okay, let me finish. Verse 38. And a mixed multitude went up also with them. That mixed multitude, that just means it was men, women, and children. That's it.
No, sir.
That's
all about the women and children.
Where did it tell you about the women and children? It said there was 600,000 on foot that were men besides children, meaning there was no women mentioned there. There's no children in there. That 600,000 is only representative of men. That's it.
Okay, hold on. And the children, because I can read too, brother. The children of Israel journeyed from Ramesses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men besides children. A mixed multitude with
where's the women mentioned that? You said the women was mentioned there. Where's the women? You said the women was mentioned there.
I stand corrected.
You know what? And I appreciate that. In all honesty, I appreciate when we can say
Right.
we didn't see something or
But the
something
fact
like
still
that.
remains,
So
though,
with the
topic
women
that
not
we were
being
dealing
there,
with,
when the
the
women
topic that
not
we
being,
were dealing with
with
is
the
that a
women
mixed
not being,
multitude
and I'm
went up
telling
with
you,
them.
the
And
mixed
these are
multitude.
people of other nations.
So wait,
These
hold
are
on,
not
hold on, hold on.
Israelites.
Who, if only 600,000 on foot were men, meaning
Yeah.
we know there's no women mentioned. We know there's no children because it says besides children. So we know these were only the men singled out. Verse 38 says a mixed multitude went with them. You know what the mixed multitude is? Female, male, children, little boys, little girls, elderly, that's the mixed multitude. It does not say that it was nations. And this is the proof. Exodus 11:7 says that against the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know that the Lord put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. The Lord wasn't trying to save Egyptians.
Right.
He was only trying to save Israel.
Right.
Israel gloried in that.
Right.
There is no salvation there for a damn Egyptian. The Egyptians was oppressing us. Only a slave. Only a goddamn slave. Only a god. Don't tell me to calm down. Only a goddamn slave would sit there and say,
you when
the
you
people
get so
do.
emotional like that.
Only a goddamn slave. Only
now
a
I'ma
slave.
read you
Only a
something. I'ma
slave.
read you
Before
something.
you can
It's
turn them
Nehemiah.
down. Only a slave would look at what they was doing to the Israelites in Egypt and say, the Lord saved some Egyptians. That's how you know he's a slave right now. Because only a slave would look at what the white man is doing to us in America and say they can be saved. And say the Gentiles is not Israelites. That's why he can't see that. Give me Matthew the 13th chapter when it says, let's speak to them in parables.
See a goddamn thing, man.
Give me Matthew the 13th chapter. Brother, I got to turn you down. You talk too much.
Too goddamn much.
I'm sorry. I'll bring you back on in a second. 13 and 13. You got 13 and 13? Matter of fact, read 13 and 10.
Matthew 13 and 10. And
You don't have to read, just read regular.
And the disciples came and said unto him,
Not better.
why speakest thou unto them in parables?
The reason why he said, why the disciples asked him why they speak him in parables, because the disciples damn near wasn't understanding them either, because they didn't have it all. But this is what Christ answered to him. Read on.
11. He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. But to them it is not given.
It is not given to brothers like this brother on the line. And I actually like the brother a little bit. Turn his volume back up. Is it brother?
All right, can I read something?
Wait, before you read it, I don't want you to I don't want you to think I'm speaking ill of you. I just want to finish. I actually don't have that much of an issue other than you trying to save white people. But the kingdom, the mysteries of the kingdom was not given to you, brother. Because if the mysteries of the kingdom was given to you, you would understand exactly what you read in Romans, the 9th chapter. Romans, the 9th chapter, you just said in many nations it shall be blessed. When Paul said in Romans, the 9th chapter, in Isaac shall thy seed be called. That in all seed, and you read it. That's why we got so happy when you did it. It says, neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children. So even when Genesis 18, when you read that and it talked about many nations, them many nations is Israel. Israel is the one that became those many nations. That's how we became Ephraim, Judah, Manasseh, Naphtali, had our own land. It was our own nation that was combined. Israel, that's why it says, the seed of Abraham are they all children. But in Isaac shall thy seed be called. So when you see sons in the New Testament, it's only talking about Isaac's. When you see promises, covenants, anything that got to do with Abraham, it's only talking about Isaac. It's not talking about everybody. You got the floor, brother.
Well, first of all, I'm gonna read you something about the mixed multitude, and then I'm gonna read you something in Galatians when it comes to the Gentiles. So this is Nehemiah, the 13th chapter, and I'm picking up at verse 1.
You said Nehemiah 13 and 1?
Yeah.
I got you. Go ahead, brother.
On that day, they read in the book of Moses in the audience of the people, and therein was found written that the Amorite and the Moabite should not come into the congregation of God forever, because they met not the children of Israel with bread and with water, but hired Balaam against them, that he should curse them. Howbeit our God turned the curse into blessing. Now he come to hit. Now it came to pass when they had heard the law that they separated from Israel all the mixed multitude. Which shows me, was telling me right there that these people right here, this mixed multitude was the strangers of other nations, not no Israelites. Because he just said right here, now it came to pass when they had heard the law that they separated from Israel all the mixed multitude. So now the mixed multitude were the strangers. Now I got something else. So, I mean, you know, it's your show. Do what you want to do, but I'm going to read some book now. So you can say, so you can stop me when you want to. So I'm going to show you the mystery. All right. This is Ephesians. I believe it's Ephesians 3:3. I'm going to show you the mystery. So you say God didn't show me the mystery, but it's obvious that, you know, no disrespect, but you brothers don't understand the mystery. It's Ephesians 3:3. How that okay, I'm gonna start at verse 1. For this cause I, Paul, the prisoner of Jesus Christ, for you Gentiles, if you have heard of the dispensation of grace of God, which is given to me, how thou by revelation he made known unto me the mystery.
Where you
as
at
I
in
wrote
Ephesians?
afore in few words, whereby when ye read, ye may understand my knowledge in the mystery of Christ, which in other ages was not made known unto the sons of men, as now revealed unto the holy apostles and the prophets by the Spirit, that the Gentiles should be fellow heirs and of the same body and partakers of the promise in Christ by the gospel. You see that? That's the mystery, that the Gentiles were going to be made fellow heirs. Now, wait a minute. If they Israelites, why do they have to be made fellow heirs? If they Israelites.
I'm just waiting until you finish before I respond.
And unto me, I appreciate that. Wherefore I am made a minister according to the gift of the grace of God given unto me by the effectual working of power, unto me who am less than the least of all the saints. It is this grace given that I should preach among the Gentiles the unsearchable riches of Christ. Now I got another one for you, but I don't want to take up all your time. So go ahead and say what you got to say, because I got something else. So go ahead.
I appreciate it. Now, what I want you to see before I respond, I was quiet the whole time. That's how a debate is supposed to go. You was able to speak without interruption. So when I speak, give me the same. Because I'm good at debating.
I do that.
No sweat. Because I'm good at debating, I could pick up on every point you made and respond, because I'm built for this. All right. So you brought up you brought up Nehemiah, the 13th chapter first. And because it says mixed multitude there, you want that to quantify that it also means the mixed multitude in Exodus. When context is everything, the very argument that we're having this evening, or debate rather, I don't want to make it seem like it's, what's up, Bob? The very debate that we're having this evening is over the word Gentile. And I keep telling you, brother, just
bro, that's your last goddamn strike, and I promise you that. I promise you.
Dude, don't talk so ignorant, okay?
Okay, and guess what? You're gone. Guess what? You're gone, B. Peace.
I don't have to be on
Shalom. Shalom. You gone, B.
That? Yeah. Now I'll answer the question, but he can't be on my show. Well,
you gotta shut the fuck up.
I cut the phone. I killed him. Like, you don't, everything don't deserve. I know, I feel you, dude. I feel you out about you, but everything don't deserve that. Like, he don't deserve that type of respect of having the even a hand clap, because it wasn't even that deep. When in Numbers, the 13th chapter, the mixed multitude. You gonna say something?
I got a lot of shit I want to say, but you know what I'm saying.
You want to get it off?
No, please, Bubba, sure.
When you want to say
I
something?
want to just say something. Thank God for the I.S.U.P.K actually coming to where I came and actually learning the truth. Otherwise, I'd probably be with this idiot. Like Most High in Christ for commanding Gen.YAHANNA and you, Captain Tazaryach and Captain Captain.
Most High in Christ, man. Barakatah Yahweh Shah. This cat is a lunatic.
My God.
And then he brought out Ephesians, the 3rd chapter, and he wanted to know why would they have to be brought back as fellow heirs when he read Romans 9:4 when it says who pertaineth the adoption. To adopt anything, meaning it didn't belong to nothing. If you go to an adoption agency to get kids, they ain't got no mother, no father. They need somebody to redeem them, which is what the children of Israel was when you read all throughout the scriptures, when we read Hosea, the 1st chapter, when we read every single thing. And he tried to throw women in Exodus when we talked about the mixed multitude there. He said, no, they got the women and the children after that.
Certain words.
In certain words that just ain't there. Kadazai said it best, man. We got Terry Crews to talk about. We got the story Shalaya Allah bring in to talk about. I mean, I appreciate the brother calling. And that's why, for those that don't know, I had a conversation with him on the phone and I gave him the opportunity. I said, listen, we can do it in intervals. I give you 2 minutes, I take 2 minutes so that we can have a decent enough dialogue. But the brother's not interested in having a decent dialogue. And then what did I do before he spoke? I was quiet the whole time.
Right.
And I'm surgical at this. I sat there and I'm just listening to him. I'm like, man, this motherfucker saying this bullshit, but I ain't say nothing. And then when he gave me the floor is when I said, you see, brother, how I was quiet for you? Give the same respect. I think I spoke 10 words and he said something. Then I spoke another word. I don't care about your show. It's apparent. I guarantee you his woman run the house.
My God.
Let that be a lesson.
Listen,
I love that.
Everybody outside the UPK is Christians, but this cat here, you understand, like never
That
left
cat
the church.
losing his mind.
But and what I was really trying to say earlier, which might have helped him,
Right.
you understand, what was one, it's still bugging me out how he's like, well, where did Paul, you understand, call himself a Gentile? Why would he? We're trying to explain.
Yeah,
to
like
you,
that. Like Peter and them wouldn't call themselves
they
Gentiles.
knew who
They
they
knew
were.
who they
You know,
were.
They grew up in Galilee, fishing in the Sea of Galilee. You get what I'm saying? Like speaking Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? Like they were professing themselves to be Jews. It doesn't make sense to call yourself a Gentile.
Not.
A Gentile is for somebody who don't know, who don't live like them. And that's what I was trying to say is, like the example I was trying to help him out with was I was gonna ask him, do you know any Benjamites or so-called West Indians? He probably would have said, yeah. I would have said, what does a Jamaican call a Jamaican who grew up stateside? And they'll say Yankees. Does that mean their pedigree changed? Does that mean that they're not Jamaican? No, it's just they don't look at them like they follow the true Jamaican culture because they grew up over here and became Americanized like our people became Hellenized. You understand? So if you can understand that, it's no different. Like that's black culture. It's no different than you have a lot of Southern Baptists in the South. If you don't go to their church, they call you a heathen. You get what I'm saying? And another thing he don't understand is that word Gentile, hold your peace for a minute. That word nation, all those words is all goyim or gawaya. You get what I'm saying? It's just different context inserted, but they don't read Hebrew. They don't understand these scriptures. It's very simple to understand. I can't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? That's crazy.
Before we go into Terry Crews and the other subjects, can I hear Akkad and Kawal? Hey, Kawal, if you listening to this show, Kawal, I got to alt with the whole damn, this got to go past him and him alone. Right. I don't need two, huh? 646-481-6315. This go, what you going to say, 6315. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you can tell that the gentleman doesn't love his people because he has no respect.
Whatsoever.
Absolutely, man. Let me tell you something, man. Kawal Gabar, if you out there, we got an alt that got to go before the whole school. How we gonna be Jersey natives? We Jersey natives, and I got the song before I got the song. What?
I was there when he recorded it.
You from New York? You don't count.
I was there when he recorded.
How you let Katazak get the song before I got the song, Kawal? Play this song, man. We're gonna be back. You on live with Cross. Listen, Cross the Line Radio is a trademark of Captain motherfucking Tazaryach.
I ain't do nothing.
He created Cross. He created the whole Cross. Without Tazaryach, there is no Cross the Line. That's without Tazaryach. There's no Cross the Line. There's no me about to kill Polite. There's no the next day Polite trying to ask to shake Tazaryach's hand, and Tazaryach say, "I will not." And you had to see, if you could have seen Polite's face when he came, Polite came with his best T.D.JAKES act. Come to Tazaryach all nice and smooth and slick like a damn snake. And he was like, "You gonna let bygones be bygones? We gonna let bygones be bygones?" Tazaryach said, "I'm not shaking your hand."
No, but you know what else happened?
What?
Okay, so then he was like, all right, well, I'm sorry for what happened. So then I was like, all right, if you apologize, I could dap you. So we get about right here. And he says, now what about mine? And I looked at him and I said, for what? he was like, he's like, my apology. I was like, for what? He's like, for what you said to me about my father. I was like,
right.
Oh, I meant that shit.
Right.
Yo,
I'm gonna tell you something.
So I'm holding his hand so he can't sneak me. So you know what he says? He looks me dead in the eyes, so like eyes watering. He go, I'd like to take my apology back.
Yeah. Yo, Polite got his ass whooped that whole weekend, man.
Don't know about
it was
that.
rough. Yeah, I know they got that Polite imitator running around. I don't know if y'all know who that is. Jabari.
And he don't do it well enough.
Jabari is like a broke ass Polite. Like Jabari is like a Polite that fell off from Hollywood and then came back to the hood trying to make a name for himself. Jabari is a horrible, when I say horrible, a horrible individual in the comedic world. What I mean by that, I ain't talking about whether he a family man. I ain't talking about none of that. But when he comes out here and try to pretend with the let me be perfectly clear and all that talking, he's the dumbest cat in the conscious community. Just dumb.
Because you know what? Because Polite, let me tell you, this is why I will give him credit here. Polite is a soothsayer.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Polite got so much, like he really believes what the hell he's saying.
Yeah, Polite be sitting in the mirror practice. You know how like when you're a comedian and you got to perform, Polite be in the mirror like, it's not the mitochondria DNA. Like he's speaking the way where he practicing in the way he said to me when he said that shit. I'm gonna tell you the only time he fucked me up, right? Polite. When we was in Black and Nobel, right? And he said when I broke down the scripture, and he said is interpretation and interpolation.
Interpolation, yeah.
Like you gotta be a nigga that's in the mirror. You gotta be somebody that's in the mirror, like he gonna say interpretation. I'm gonna say interpolation. He ain't gonna know what interpolation mean. And then I got him. That's the only time because the whole time I'm looking at him like interpolation. And then when he break down the interpolation, I'm like, nigga, you just interpolated. Like I didn't understand that.
Wait, but he'll do that. Like I watch him in an interview. He'll tell a story, and I'll be like locked in for a minute, like almost hypnotized. Like and then I'm like, wait, that didn't happen, nigga. I was there. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he puts a spell. He like I watched this with Zahar the other day. You ever seen the Jungle Book? You know that snake with the googly eyes?
Right,
that's Polite.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
he's locking
Polite.
you into his words.
Yeah. Yeah, he does that too.
Back to the Jabari, I see Jabari on television, cable access network. It's still as feminine. He's more feminine on TV than he is.
Yeah, well, Jabari does look feminine, but Jabari tries to do what Polite does. He need to go to join. He should join New Covenant. Like I encourage Jabari to join New Covenant. Then he might have a little bit of skill set, but he's probably the dumbest motherfucker in the conscious community. He used to be a Roman Catholic priest or something. Yeah, he used to be in the Roman Catholic Church. That might be why he is feminine.
Probably.
Might be. You never know. Now they'll say that's emotional, whatever. They must not have been watching Tazaryach for the past couple of years. I just tell it like it is. And if you come out to be feminine, and he does have a wife, there's a lot of niggas that gay that have wives and got kids. Ask Sadnetta. I mean, not Sadnetta. I ain't saying he's like that. But no. I ain't saying he like that. But when Sadnetta used to deal with Shaka, Sadnetta would in one breath say Shaka got a homosexual roommate, and then in another breath I was just playing. You know, we just talking shit like that, whatever, like that. He got kids. He got a wife.
He got
Nobody
weave too. Let's just throw that out there.
So Jabari week as hell, but what I will say, Jabari gonna be on my show next week.
we gonna talk about it.
Everything ain't a clap. I'm not a clap. You clapping for Jabari? He almost got you. He clapping for Jabari. 646-481-6315. All right, now we're gonna take a quick break. Oh, somebody called.
Yeah.
You maybe missed the call, man.
Missed the call.
So who that?
What?
He said,
What's going on with time out?
It's Mark D, nigga.
Who this?
Who?
Mark D.
Oh, get rid of this guy, man.
I don't know how to get rid of him.
How are you even
He's not on my
right
phone.
now?
Look on the Uber conference.
Oh.
Look on the Uber conference. He might
Who this?
Just mute him.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. He's muted now. So, you got the number? We're going to play 2 songs and then we're going to come back. But yeah, Sinette and Jabari might be the next guest. Like I said, I want to try to have guests every week on the show. So anybody that wants to be on the show, I'm working on, I'm actually working with Umar Johnson to get him on the show. Got a good relationship with the brother. Divine Prospect is another cat that can get on the show. Anybody can get on the show. Conscious community.
All right. Not anybody can get on the show.
Well, you can't. When I say anybody, not the cat that got not like somebody that got like 10 likes or something like that, and he think he big in his own
No more
brain.
Pastor Russ. All right.
Now, Pastor Russ, I like Pastor Russ.
Pastor Russ is done.
Pastor Russ.
Like what hole in the wall church did Sinette find this cat at, man? Y'all killing me. Bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, man. So now we're gonna play these 2 songs. Kawal, I'm gonna give you 5. Only New York knows what that means. Kawal, I'm gonna give you 5. You got the songs ready?
Yeah, it says it's going to your voicemail. You got it on Do Not Disturb?
No, tell him to call back. Tell him to call back. You want him to call now? Sure. We'll take his call now. Here we go. Here you go. Oh, what? No, it must be something with his phone where I keep hanging up. I don't know why it's hanging up. Hold on. Tell him I'll call.
He's saying it's going to voicemail.
I no sweat. The beautiful thing about this is that we can actually make phone calls too. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, I didn't know.
We can actually make phone calls ourselves.
Some new tricks.
Please leave your message for.
And I went to his voicemail.
Okay.
I don't know.
Y'all canceling each other out. Show's canceled.
Hey, there's a lot of feedback.
Brother, you just want you to go to a quieter area and call back in, all right? All right,
You know that I don't even think that's him. That's Google.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah, just mute everybody. I believe
they keep calling in.
Oh, you gonna bring the song on?
Which one you want first?
The card one.
Okay.
Yeah, give me a card first. You were supposed to have that line.
I thought you wanted Kawal first.
I'll play Kawal first then. Play something. We'll be back here on live with Cross the Line. Real quick, caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Young man Kendall calling in from Boston, Massachusetts.
All right, young man Kendall, you got a question or a comment?
I don't have a question, but it was crazy the class today, man, for real.
Yeah. Gentleman is a bad boy. Gentleman
is this live?
Breakdown on the word Gentiles, man.
Yeah.
Is this live?
Yo, Kendall.
All praises.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Kendall, this is what I'm gonna tell you, man. You know what I'm saying? I got some good news and I got some bad news. And they both the same thing. All right.
Oh man.
The good news and the bad news is that your life is over. You understand?
All praises.
Now,
All praises to the Most High.
you damn right, bro. I can tell you
come
how
too
I
early.
was shy. But you understand, the good news is that today
killing me, man.
you are no longer gonna be young man Kendall. You understand?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I'm about to go out.
Yeah,
I'm
now
about
you
to go
clap. You
outside
got
right now.
the premature claps. So what happens is that your name, you understand? Now remember, General Muhammad was talking about an oath. You take this name, you come inside here, you become a trooper in the UPK. You take on a oath. You understand? And
That's right.
like moving forward, ain't nobody gonna call you young man Kendall, man. You are going to be Trooper Barzal Regal. You understand? And this means iron feet. You understand? Now, what does that got to do with anything? Listen, iron feet is not light feet. It's not quick feet. It like quick feet go to do evil. You get what I'm saying? Quick feet get off post. You understand? Iron feet stand firm, stand disciplined. You understand that?
That's right.
They stand strong for the Most High. They ain't wavery or nothing. You cannot move this man. You understand? Nothing can move him. Not emotions, whatever the case may be. You understand? As long as you stay grounded in this truth, you gonna go far. So congratulations, Barzal Regal, man. You understand? You an official
Barzal
trooper.
You ain't got no bomb drops
in the I.S.U.P.K. under my
Yo,
I had all the bomber drops. You had everything, man.
It's locked.
Nah, I'm just messing.
But you know what I'm saying? So congratulations, man. You understand? You
good. Nice workout.
The rank and
Nice
responsibility of a trooper in the I.S.U.P.K. under Commanding General Yahanna, man. You know
just
what I'm
fucked up. So, just letting you know. Now's when the work begins.
I don't even know what to say right now, man. Salaki, sir, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead, get down now.
Very grateful. I'm very grateful right now. I'm saying I've been waiting for this. I'm saying, and it's a very good feeling, man.
Well, listen, man. You've been diligent.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? You've been diligent because I don't know if you know, Captain Tazaryach, one of the brothers that helped raise me. You know what I'm saying? We don't just give Hebrew names out like that around here. You get what I'm saying?
Don't give me all that.
You one of them. I'm gonna say it.
Yo, I don't know what to say, man. All I know is, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna get you know what I'm saying, to this prayer right now, you know, and I'm gonna take this oath seriously. You know what I'm saying? And I can't wait to move up, you know what I'm saying, be able to, you know what I'm saying, get the chance to go to war, man. Where I've been waiting for this.
Anti-Christian, that's all.
I understand. Look, you young man.
Yeah, man. You just keep it. Hey, you know you gonna come to camp in Massachusetts? Because I'm coming as soon as this weather breaks. Damn right. Wait. I can't wait.
Lord willing, January 13th, we'll be back on the streets in Roxbury, right at Dudley Station.
It's gonna be freezing January 13th.
I don't know. We gonna see. Y'all better bundle up in Boston.
Y'all won't see us on the street till March.
I was like, why y'all clipping camp, yo? We ain't that cold out here, man. We good. Got this.
Listen, don't follow orders. You understand? That's it.
I'm gonna tell you something, right? I'm gonna give you a story. I'm gonna give you a story real fast, right? Because like it's easy to say it ain't that cold when you just going in and out, or you might be outside for 15 minutes. Right. It's different when you out there for 8 hours.
Yeah, right.
And I'm gonna give a story. Listen, man, I'm gonna tell you. Listen, I got a story, right? In Harlem, we hadn't had camp for like maybe 4 weeks because of the weather. So we going to Gen.YAHANNA. We like, man, we can go out there. It's 30. Say it feel like 20. We good. We can go out there. That was probably the worst camp of my life. When I say it was freezing, man. I didn't run the camp back then. I'm holding posts. I'm sitting there like this free. It was so bad. The generals had pulled their car, let it run with the heat. And we was taking turns going in the car to get warmed up.
Right.
That's how bad it was that time. And we begged for that. So you think you want to go out there in 20 below degrees till you holding posts, and they like, read, brother, you don't want to take your hands out your pocket to hold the sword. You ain't even gonna hold the sword in your hand because you're so damn cold. And you reading John 3:16. For God so much. You're gonna be like that reading the scriptures. But when that weather break, brother, I'll be right up there with you. I can't wait, to be in the camp or whatever like that. All right.
That's right. Just let me know the time and the place. I'm gonna be there, man.
All right, no sweat, brother.
All right, man. Lord be with you. Congratulations again.
Congratulations.
Yo, all praises, man. Thank you.
Hey, no sweat.
Shalom.
All right, shalom. Yeah, some shalom.
And with that, back to the music.
All right.
All right.
All right, shalom.
Well,
you gotta bring that back. Did you bring it?
Pull
back?
it. Pull it.
Yeah, pull it. The mic's on?
Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black. But she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black. But she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. I can't fight the cops and the ops. Stolen blocks, heavy on the block. While a crack tucked in the sock. Instead help the ones I love. We was on the block for the grub. If you from my side, then it's love. Wanted big knots, busting up the jeans, but we was hurting all the fiends. Without that crack, he was just like me. Dirty nigga from the concrete, but the white man dealt his hand. So we eating up the trash can. People ride by, don't extend a hand, cause to them, this the average black man. So for him, that's why I gotta make it. I ain't talking rap. Before the slave ships, I'm one of a kind. Y'all can't take it. I can never leave my spot vacant, cause I'm black. I see crowns and I take it, cause I'm black. I never been in no spaceship, but I know a UFO when I see it. I know that it's gonna come when I need it. I put faith in God more than Bible reading, so I don't play that shit. Address them when you see them. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black. But she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black. But she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. Learn to flip pennies cause I'm black. Know about semis cause I'm black. Yeah, in the hood, we was strapped 10 toes down. We wear sacks. Substitute Israelite with black. And you gotta guess where I'm at. I be with the priest chilling hard. Right on Malcolm X Boulevard. To you niggas, to me the stars. Everything about my life is hard. But I'll never fold, play my cards. You want beef? What's the cause? Watch your mouth, I hit hard. Back up for unique goals. Everything you say, mad pause. Every move I make is within them laws. And I've been the boss cause it's beneficial. Ask the enemy, I've been official. If not for weed, I've been the official. Homie, I understand why you smoke. Been depressed since slave boats. But the Bible is the G code. Far blunts don't need those. Brotherhood is life's G code. Life's cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black. But she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black. But she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. I don't gotta buy J's cause I'm black. I don't pay 2K just cause I'm black. Fought my whole life cause I'm black. But I left his eye blue and black. Ain't got a trap cause I'm black. Ain't got not one face tat. But I'm still getting profile, cause I fit these crackers profile. Scruffy bed with the dark skin, baggy sweats with the butter Timbs. So they know they can't butter him, so they rather jail cell muzzle him. If you touching him, and you cuffing him, cause I'm a law keeper, a peace bringer, no tranquility, a peace bringer. Deuce in the street sweeper, coverage clip, I be spicing shit. But gunned out with die in the icy wrist, that showed in my chest ain't for blocking shit. Touch me, I'm all on you blocking shit, cause I'm black. You think I gotta cock the fifth? Well, that's a stereotype, that's accurate, cause crackers laying niggas in these cold streets and then telling my brother he got a beef for me. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black. But she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black. But she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. So I'm black.
All right, so we got somebody who wanted to call in, so we
Okay,
gonna
so you
check
said
this cat out.
So you said the one of the subjects was Immaculate Conception. We didn't get to touch on it yet, but what's your question on it?
Yeah, my question has nothing to do with Immaculate Conception.
Okay, but what is your question on it?
It was more, you seem to be genuinely interested in the truth. And for that reason, I pursued this. And I'm asking you a question. You seem to be sincere and sincere in your beliefs. My question is, why wouldn't you accept Islam?
You said, why wouldn't I?
I already know I know your positions. I know how you guys view Islam and everything. But why? I've never heard your argument for why you don't accept it.
Okay, no sweat. The reason why we don't accept Islam is because that's the Arabs' religion and we're Israelites. So I wouldn't accept Islam. I wouldn't accept Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, 5%. I wouldn't accept nothing except what the Lord gave us. And he did not give us Islam.
I understand that. Right? In the case of Hinduism, for example, we already know that that's not from God, right? I'm Muslim myself.
But Islam is not from God. But Islam is not from God either, though.
Yes. Yeah, I understand that's your position. So I mean, if your reason is that you don't accept Islam because Islam is not from God, then that's a valid reason. Well, you can't say you can't accept Islam because it's from the Arabs.
Yes, okay. Here's why I say. Let me just respond. I'm gonna tell you why I say that. The reason why I say I don't accept it because it's from the Arabs is because we're not supposed to accept anything from the other nations, not one single thing. What's that?
Yeah.
No, that's the prophet. He's not a prophet. So what I mean, here's what I mean. I want to give you a scripture first. I'll let you speak again. I just want to give you a scripture first. Just bear with me 1 second. All right? I just want to pull it. This is Judges, the 3rd chapter, right? In Judges 3, in Judges 3:1, it says, "Now these are the nations which the Lord left to prove Israel by them, even as many of Israel had not known all the wars of Canaan. Only that the generations of the children of Israel might know to teach them war, at least such as nothing, before it knew thereof." And then it names nations. And in verse 4, it says, "And they would approve Israel by them to know whether they would hearken unto the commandments of the Lord, which he commanded their fathers by the hand of Moses." So these nations are always round about us since Israel's been established. And we're not supposed to follow nothing that the nations do. So Islam, Hinduism, they're the same to me. There's something that the other nations are doing that we're not supposed to do. And all of them, what Hindu and Islam try to do is grab a hold of the God of the Israelites. So they try to make some type of connection to Christ, some type of connection to Moses, some type of connection to God, when that has nothing to do with it. So when you say why we don't follow it, because God told us not to follow it.
Okay, I totally understand that argument, right? Here's the thing. I know you've been studying religion longer than I have been studying religion. You probably have a few years on me. Here's the thing, and this is the principle. This is a phenomena that religious people that plays religion, right? Everybody can have the same text, but each person interprets that text differently. So to say that your position is your interpretation, right? So it's not necessarily what the book is actually teaching, but it's your interpretation of the book.
Can I ask you a question?
And I say that because
can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
What's your nationality? Like, what's your
nationality? As in where I was born or who my parents are.
Who your parents are? Like, would you be black? Would you be Hispanic? Would you be?
I'm black. Yes, I'm black from the Caribbean slave trade.
Right. So okay, I got you. So now, with you being a black, man or West Indian man, why would you follow the religion of another nation that's different from yours? Why would you follow a culture from another nation that's different from yours?
That's true. That's a good question. The reason is I follow it is because after assessing all of the facts regarding it, everything that you have access to regarding your religion, I have access to regarding my religion, right? Regarding Islam. And after assessing the facts on both sides, I was raised in a Christian society. I examined Christianity. I examined the Bible. So I didn't examine it in the light of Christianity. I examined it just as the Bible itself, right? I never took had an affinity for Catholicism or those things, but I did recognize that there seemed to be immense truth in the Bible. I also examined Islam, right? And the reason I chose Islam over the other is for this reason. Maybe there are other things at play, but this is the reason I chose Islam over the Bible, right? I've always had an issue with Jesus being God, or the narrative of Jesus being God.
Okay.
Huh?
No, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to people. I'm listening to you, though. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I've always had an issue with Jesus being God. So I'm not sure what exactly you guys' position is, but that was the stimulus for me to research more, right? Whether the issue was wrong-headed, the stimulus was wrong-headed or right-headed, that's not the matter. The matter is that I have that stimulus and I went to investigate it.
Okay, so now for time's sake, only because we only got about 15 minutes left, I want you to kind of wrap up so then I can respond.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Quick to say quickly is that once I got to the New Testament, I realized that Jesus would be saying certain things, and it seems to be as you get the word you use is he spoke in a lot of parables, and I always wondered, what do these things mean? Let me see what these things mean. So I went to the library to look up, like, okay, so what was Matthew, Mark, Luke, John? Who were these guys? What were their creed? What did they actually believe? What does this text actually mean? Let me see how they implement it in their own lives so that I could know what the truth is. And then I come to find out that these books are anonymous. And with that, I was really angry for a while. Like, who follows anonymous books? At a point in time when you had a bunch of them around. Why didn't we follow all the other anonymous books in the time? Why these anonymous ones?
Okay,
so that's what made me very upset about the issue.
Okay, wait, so now
Islam didn't have that. And the reason I chose Islam was that Islam didn't have that. From day one to the last, from the beginning to the end, the book was handled by people who lived with the Prophet, knew the Prophet, memorized from him and everything. And we know their names and the way they live and everything.
Okay, so now let me respond. Let me respond. I appreciate it.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Wherever you did your studies at, they were incorrect. And the reason why I said it was incorrect, because you said you struggle with the fact of Jesus being God. There's nowhere in the Bible that says Jesus is God. God, Jesus himself. Listen, bro, hey. I let you talk.
Sure, okay, go on.
This is the problem that I have with people I let call the show. I let them talk, but when I try to talk, they want to talk too. Just hold your peace, and then you can respond at the end. Now, in the scriptures, Christ said there is none good but one which is God, clearly making a distinction between him and the Most High. So obviously your studies was incorrect. Now, you also mentioned about the authors, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. All of the disciples or people of the Bible were carried by people that were with them. They were actual individuals that lived. Now, what you failing to point out with the Quran is that, first of all, the Quran was spread with the sword to your very brothers. Right. When Muhammad spread Islam, he didn't spread it. Like, as an Israelite, the true nature of the Bible, the true nature of being an Israelite is you have to be an Israelite first. You can't be a white man and be a part of this Bible, part of this record. You can't be an African and be a part of this record. You can't be an African. There's a certain criteria. That's what makes us not a religion. A religion is something that everyone can be a part of. And when Muhammad spread that Islam, you know what he first did it by? By copying after the Jews. So they faced Jerusalem first. They followed the path.
He did it by what?
Brother, I said he did it by copying after the Jews. When you do the history of how Islam was founded, Muhammad prayed facing Jerusalem, kept the Day of Atonement, kept the Passover, did everything like we did. And the only reason he stopped is because we wouldn't let him be God. He made himself a God. When you pray, you got to say there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet or his messenger. He puts himself on that. And when the Jews rejected him, you know what Muhammad did? He started killing the Jews. And he said, you either become a Muslim or you die. And that's just like Christianity was spread with the sword, Islam was spread with the very same sword. It's just as violent. It's just as violent as a religion as Christianity. Here's the other part of the question that I have for you that I asked another Muslim. In Islamic culture, if a man becomes a Muslim, he becomes your brother, correct?
Yeah.
So now, if the white man that killed your family becomes a Muslim, is he now your brother?
Yeah, he's my brother.
So you would pray with him?
If he committed a crime.
That's not what I asked you. I don't take it off the crime. I'm gonna ask my question again. I said, if that white man murdered your brother, your family, and he then repented and turned to the Quran, would you forgive that white man?
Yeah, you pray beside him, but his punishment is still death.
So you would, so you would.
In Islam.
That's not. I ain't asking you. I'm not asking you.
Real quick.
I just want to know. I just want to know if you're
the context in Islam of the capital punishment.
I'm not asking about. I'm not asking about capital punishment. I said, if that white man that murdered your family goes into Islam and becomes a Muslim, would you pray with him, forgive him? You would do all that with him?
I could forgive him personally, but his punishment is still death.
I'm not talking about his punishment. I said, would you pray with him and would you forgive that white man?
That's optional.
I'm asking what you would do. That's what I'm asking you.
I don't think I would pray with him, but that's an optional disposition.
So the white man is your brother. That's what make Islam a piece of shit. That's why I would never join Islam. That's why Dylan Storm can go into the Christian church, murder everybody, and they forgive him. That's why the white man can be the #1 murderer on the planet, and we forgive him because we find an excuse. Like you're using the Islamic cover to forgive the white man instead of wanting revenge for what the white man did to your ancestors and what the Arabs did to your ancestors. Do you know what the Arabs did or the role they played with your West Indian family? The Arabs is the ones that assisted. The Arabs are the ones that assisted in destroying your family, and you joined their religion. You joined their religion.
Everything you just said is plausible and is logical.
It's not plausible.
But if I turn those hold on. But if I turn those arguments back towards your religion, you will be painted as a hypocrite.
No, we're
because
not.
First of all, wait, hold on. You said that is the reason you can't accept Islam. First of all, the religion isn't based on what you feel. So because you're angry at Islam for killing somebody, that doesn't make the religion based on your anger. The religion is not based on your anger. God's word is not based on how you feel or how I feel.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Do the Muslims forgive white people? Do the Muslims forgive white people? Let me make it even better. Do white people forgive the Muslims?
Righteousness is not based on skin color.
I'm not talking about skin color. I'm not talking about skin color. I'm talking about races. We ain't talking about no skin color. The white man, I'm only calling him the white man because that's what he calls himself. I'm not talking about race. We talking about the Arabs. The Arabs are a brown-skinned people that murdered your people to start Islam. Hold on. To start Islam, they had to murder your family to start Islam.
Yeah.
And you joined Islam. You joined it. It was found. I'm not saying that that's historical. That's historical documentation. I'm not making that up. That's all throughout history that Muhammad spread Islam with the sword.
It's not an Islamic text.
It isn't. It's not.
It's not in the Islamic text because it was spread after the Quran was printed. You get what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. The Islamic conquest started after.
The collection of Sahih Bukhari is 100 times bigger than the Quran. Quran makes up a minute part of Islamic text.
Okay,
so we have a vast
let me help you out.
You're not going to find the genocide and that stuff that you're talking about.
Okay.
In taught as an Islamic concept. Yes, Muslim commits crimes the same way as your brothers commit crimes.
Well,
But that doesn't mean that crime is
let me
based
help
on
you
the
out.
religion.
Are you Orthodox?
Right?
Are you let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Let me, brother. Let me ask you a question.
Islam is culpable.
You should drop. He can't hear. I'm trying. Yeah. Oh, you can hear me now.
No, I dropped him. So
well, I can't hear you ever again. Goodbye. I want to know if he was if he was an Orthodox Muslim, or if he was one of those FOY cats.
He sound like an Orthodox. Yeah, he sound like one of them Orthodox niggas.
Because that you could really tell.
What's the difference? FOYs is white Muslims.
Damn.
The fruit of Islam, they are white Muslims. They got a bow tie. They shave all. The Orthodox ones, the ones want to wear the man dresses. You know what I mean? Or whatever they want to be a part of or something.
You want to give them one more chance? We got 7 minutes.
You got set. Okay, all right, that'd be nice. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
I'm some guy. You said that I couldn't. You couldn't hear me just now.
Oh, okay. No, you couldn't hear me. I could hear you loud and clear, rambling on. Are you an Orthodox Muslim, or are you like FOI, Nation of Islam? Like which branch do you follow?
No, Orthodox.
You're Orthodox. Okay. That makes sense. You understand, because FOI really don't give a damn about that Quran. But let me tell you something, brother. What the captain was trying to explain to you was that's how you know. What the captain was trying to explain to you, man, is that because of that Quran, you joined yourself to a club. You get what I'm saying? Like where anyone can join, whether they're white, whether they're Asian. What we're trying to tell you is that you being West Indian, you're a part of a nation, not a club that no other nation can convert to. They can't become us the same way you can't become Chinese, the same way you can't become a white man because of what you were born. We're talking about a birthright. And in our birthright, we're not to have any other gods, nor could there be any other prophets outside of an Israelite bloodline. When you read the Bible, it tells you that the Quran is trash. When you read the Quran, it completely plagiarized from the Bible.
Yeah. So
I hate talking to people and they just, it's like, yeah, fuck all that.
What I gotta say is, there is no prophet but Muhammad.
Yeah, that makes absolutely no. I cannot with these type of people. After about an hour and a half of my man Russ is a female. So they be getting mad. We be calling cats gay.
Yo, but they are, man. Like somebody got to tell them. That's like somebody should have told Little Uzi Vert. You know what I'm saying? Somebody should have told Young Thug. You know what I'm saying?
Jabari.
Jabari, Shaka. There wasn't enough checkings. Like you know what I'm saying? Like who told this nigga to wear makeup?
Yeah,
you know
man. What's up, Bob?
That's it. Oh man.
As far as them brothers wearing makeup, I think you gotta really point the finger at the audience. If you gonna sit there and give them 1 million goddamn views wearing makeup.
Listen, the Egyptians were gay too. The Egyptians, like the real little Egyptians, they were gay, man.
And like you know what? Even old girl, what was her name? Nefertiti.
Yeah, she was a dyke.
She was, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
And
like,
make sure y'all hit the like button, man. We're about to close the show.
She would dress like a man because she thought she would get more respect. She was young M.A. You get what I'm saying? Like,
they said she was young M.A.
That's how you got to really look at it. Like young, you know what I'm saying? Like women think that being a man is going to make them strong and respected. You get what I'm saying? Meanwhile, I look at her and I'm just like, you got a mental disorder. You know what I'm saying?
That's funny. And with that,
this is not Israelite vibes.
This is cross the fucking line
or get the fuck out of here. Shalom, Israel.